Boys is getting quiet. Go on and get crunk. Head back to Longview, Kelly popping trunk. I ain't even tripping. Riding and I'm sipping. Let me come through, 4-4 steady tipping. On that new lap. Watch the trunk crack. Let me sit sideways, CB running back. Maybe AP, maybe AD. I ain't even tripping cause we some athletes. Messing with Smitty in the summertime. He get pissed if we don't make our time. But we gon' get it, cause we gotta finish. Nebraska Horn Hustlers, man, we diminished. Put them boys little, paint like a skittle. I ain't even tripping, I ain't never double dribble. Cause I'm a player from the Himalaya. Let me sit sideways, man. Maybe back door, maybe fall off. Sipping codeine cause I gotta kill a cough. Let me sit sideways in the big Benz. Oh, you boys, they my brothers, they my friends.
All right. Welcome into Fullback U, and man, we've already been off air, but y'all can't know. But it's been amazing already. They laughing. It's gonna be amazing. Super duper hyped. Just proud to have my brothers. Let me start with Jay Norm, Southmoore Head Coach. How you feeling, Josh Norman?
Doing well, man. I appreciate to be on. It's always a pleasure to be on, man.
Man, always.
He can't even leave. He laughing.
Always. Jarrail Jackson, how you feeling, bro?
I'm good, man. How you doing? Josh laughing
great.
like he got something up his sleeve already. So
no, man. What you talking about, man?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one.
It is. I'm here to learn, man.
No, I failed Jay Norm because not only have I brought up that he has the fire beats. So if you need to get it, if you need a beat, you need to get him. And this man got beans, greens, potatoes, tomatoes. He got all of them, dog. He be cook. What inspired you, Jay Norm, to get on the cooking?
Man, honestly, I like to eat. I mean, that's what it boils down to, man. JJ, I don't even know if you remember this, boy, but we was in meetings and they was giving me the business because they was like, Jay Norm, when we get done playing, you're going to get up to like 275, 280. I'm like, man, y'all crazy. There ain't no way. Man, I blew that out the water at one point, man.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I got close up there to blowing it out the water. Once you start playing and right, I'm gonna tell you, when I stopped playing arena football and had my first McDonald's burger, I was done.
Yeah. Exactly. That's real.
It was over.
That's real, man. But no, just since I was young, man, I learned how to cook, and I'd always, ask my great aunt how she made certain things and how to cook. And through college, I'd always call her and ask her for recipes on stuff, and I always just enjoyed, cooking. And so just over the past few years, I've really taken it serious to try to learn the craft even better and learn it at a high level. And so, yeah, I enjoy it, man. I love it.
That's real.
We got to get some of them wings.
Oh, man, they be looking great.
The wings he be putting out. Now,
oh, my God.
I heard the reviews is pretty good.
Woo. Yeah, they coming back soon, man. Real soon.
Jarrail, what you been up to? I know you can't update everybody too much, but let everybody know you nonstop football guy, one of the great football brains in college football. So just let everybody know what you're up to.
Man, just kind of been hanging out and been in Dallas. Had a chance to sit down with James McKnight, him and June Jones created the run and shoot. So guy been sitting down, teach me to run and shoot, along with what I already know as far as the air raid stuff. So just kind of been doing that. Just kind of up in the repertoire, hanging out with Josh sometimes when he let me.
Yeah.
Just kind of getting ready. I'll let everybody know. I got some things in the works. Whenever it come official, we'll come on here and tell everybody what's going to go on. But right now, just kind of laying low, man, and having fun, hanging out, trying to avoid the COVID down in Dallas.
That's what's up. And Jay Norm, I know y'all been working at Southmoore, but just let us know how that's been going.
Man, it's been good, man. First of all, just as far as, COVID goes, I think we've done a great job of just having policies and a process that prevents the spread of it within what we're doing there at Southmoore. And so we've been solid at that. And then just the kids have been working hard, man. We had the opportunity to get on the field and go through some skills camps, kind of, start putting guys in position because, the new staff, we didn't know anybody, and so to be able to get eyes on guys and kind of start making some personnel decisions and moving guys around on one side of the ball or the other, or seeing who's going to go both ways, that's been really good for us. And then just the opportunity to get to install our systems, both offense, defense, and special teams, to be able to do that, man, has been critical for us, And so we got our systems in as far as the base goes. They understand, how we call our plays, how we're communicating what we're wanting to do, and looking forward to getting started back when August comes.
Man, I can't wait. Okay, well, I got to bring it. It started out like this. I'm biased. I'm not even going to lie to the fans. The guys that I bring on here want to win national championships more than anybody. And these two guys, especially, I'm shaking y'all's head. Okay, Jarrail. We've seen – let's just get to the point. I mean, Bama's starting to turn it around in recruiting. What is the SEC – is our 3 stars that we're getting going to be the same as theirs? Are we going to – what's it going to take for us to make the jump? Are their defenders so much better down there? Let me know all that.
I just think they recruiting base. They take care of the home. That base in that Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia football. That recruiting base is strong, and you got to have SEC ties to get in there. That's what they getting the cash. That's what they're getting the guys from. And then sometimes they rolling the dice on some 3 stars that are out in the middle of Alabama, middle of Mississippi that come in and end up developing to be great football players. I just think OU right now they got to recruit for outside of the Big 12, because the Big 12 is not what you're gonna play. You got to start recruiting to beat the Alabamas, the Clemsons, and guys like that. But the thing is, though, now if you start going out there, you open up this area right here for recruiting. You open up Texas, you open up Oklahoma, and you got to be willing to go do it. And they've done a great job of taking guys out of Maryland and out of California and stuff like that. But I just think it's just the SEC right now. If I'm a defensive player, if I'm a DB, if I'm a top level DB, if I'm a top level D lineman, I'm gonna go play in the SEC just because I've been successful at the next level. That when we was coming up, guys was coming out of the Big 12 because the Big 12 was more balanced and stuff like that. But I just think the SEC football right now is on a whole nother level. With the guys that they getting in, because they getting. I mean, when I was at Mississippi State, you could walk out in the middle of nowhere and get a kid that's 6'3", 225, that's running 4.6, and he haven't been coached. So I just think right now Oklahoma, they getting the guys to fit their system and fit what they do. Are we hitting and missing on a couple guys? Yeah, some of those guys. And it goes back to this now. It goes back to what your staff and your position coach is like. What can he handle? What can he? When we was there, we had Jackie Ship. Ship can handle anybody. You know what I'm saying? Which Tim can handle anybody. And it just goes back to the personality of what you got on your staff as far as the coaches and stuff like that. And Oklahoma has a great coaching staff. Those guys just got to find their niche to be able to compete with those guys outside of the Big 12. And then the players that come in there got to understand you're not coming here for the Jordan brand. You coming here for Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing is don't come here because you want to be Team Jordan. And we've done a good job of recruiting, selling the Jordan brand. Now Alabama don't sell nothing but come play for Alabama. And when you come there, you know what you're getting. You come to play for the tradition. So the kids that show up on campus at Oklahoma got to show up and understand the tradition that they playing for. And once they do that and stuff like that, I think they'll get back to what they need to be. You just got to go. I mean, I can't explain it. It's just them dudes just different than what we was when we was there. We came in, we built it from the ground up. I mean, I can remember the weight room was a little white building in the middle of the boys was getting at it, going to work. So, and it's just the nature of the program. Those guys that come in got to understand the tradition that go back and playing Oklahoma football.
Yeah, man. The ice tubs were horse troughs that they used to drink out of. I mean, you already know Jay Norm. I mean, it's nowhere near it. We could go on and on.
I mean, you go back there now, them dudes got big time. I mean, and it's nothing against them. I just think they got to understand the tradition. The players got to understand the tradition and what they walking into. You're not going to get wins no more because you Oklahoma. Now, seeing what LSU did to you, what Alabama did to you, it's one of those deals now where it got to become personal. Like them dudes when they step on the field, they got to play angry and play mad and play violent and get at it.
You guys are coaches, and I'm going to show your genius right now. Jay Norm, you've played in the NFL. You've seen elite defensive tackles. Jarrail, you've coached against these teams. Jay Norm, what's the prep like? Can you prep for an elite D-line? How does it affect you as a coach? How does it change your offensive game planning? Let me know all that. Is it an impossible battle? Let me know.
No, it's definitely not an impossible battle, but it's very difficult. I mean, the truth is when you got a defensive line that can freaking play across the board, you got to the bottom line is you got to be able to run the ball. Like,
there it is.
And you got to be able to control the trenches. If you can't, we still here? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
My
yeah,
bad.
okay. Yeah.
All right, there we go. You got to be able to control the front line, and if you can't do that, I'm talking about in run game and pass game. And if you can't do that, then you're gonna be hard pressed to win. Now, I think offensively, our offensive line can compete with anybody in the country. I think defensively, our front seven. I mean, just not even just our front seven, just across the board. Like, it's just a different caliber of cat that we're looking at. You know what I'm saying? And so, like JJ said, man, we gotta recruit guys that can compete in the playoffs. It's kind of like the NBA does. They're, in the West, or excuse me, in the East, they're not building teams to win the East. They're building teams to compete with the teams in the West. Especially when the Lakers were with Shaq and Kobe and all of them, they were trying to build teams that, knowing that, we can win the East, but when we get to the finals to play against, the Lakers or some of those teams out the West, we got to be able to compete with them. And it's, we got to have that same strategy and that same mentality on getting guys that can compete, when we get to the playoffs. Just because if you just do the eyeball test across the board, like, it's just a different type of dude that they're putting on the field, And so back to your original question on the defensive line, there's always, strategies and game plans that you can put in place to control guys. You look at a team like the Los Angeles Rams, and you got Aaron Donald. There's things you can do to try to control him, right? You can wham him, you can trap him, just try to do things to control him. But it's gonna take a lot more than that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna get his. He's gonna have plays that that he's gonna get his. But when you got defensive linemen, linebackers, secondary guys who just, I mean, what was the cat's name with Clemson? How do you even prepare for a guy like that? You know what I'm saying? Who has the range that he has, who can, play in the box, play in the secondary, who can cover, who can tackle. Like, it's hard to prepare for guys like that, especially when you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on that side of the ball. And so, like I said, I think offensively we can compete, but I think our issue has been defensively. We've just allowed teams to put so much pressure on us that it gets us out of our element on offense. I think that's the thing I've really respected a lot about Lincoln Riley is, we've had quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, who could throw the ball all over the yard, but all of that is truly set up by a run game. Like, we do a great job running the ball. Beatonbow does a great job with their run schemes. But, when we get into positions where we just have to, just try to make up points and just cover points because we're so far behind, it's hard to do.
Jarrail, how would you prep? Let me know what the prep's like for when you play LSU or Bama. Let me know what we need to expect when we need to make that move to the SEC.
I mean, that the prep, like when we was in the Pac-12, and we had to play Leonard Williams. He was a SC. It was one where Leach was in that thing where we got wide splits, and sometimes we just let him go. And he fell down a couple times. And, you had to do different things to keep him off balance. Going in, when you're playing a good D-line, you just got to find ways to make him run as much as possible. That's why I think offensively-wise, we have no issue making those guys run all around on the field. And if you remember when we played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl, I think it was like 2016 when we beat them, Tim did a great job of like shrinking stuff and make them guys run sideline to sideline with receivers out there. Just kept them off balance. Kept the D-line, when they decided to run the football, D-line was tired of chasing them bubble screens and tired of chasing all that down the field and stuff like that. But the preparation, I think that starts in the summertime with the strength that you got in, and that attitude and all that's instilled in the summertime when you that strict. I mean, Schmitty had that instilled in us from day one, and I can tell you, playing for Coach Blake and having, and then making the transition into Coach Stoops, it was just a mind change in the weight room. That was the whole difference. It was a mind change in the weight room. That dude came in and it was no issues, no problem. Yeah, being at Mississippi State and stuff like that, we game plan for Alabama. It was the same way. It was just a mindset in the weight room, and it's just a mindset when they step on the field. Having coached against those guys, them guys step on the field, they don't even acknowledge you. They understand what's going on. They understand. It's kind of how Oklahoma was when we was coming up when we got good. Step on the field, we acknowledge. We didn't acknowledge. We knew it was game over. And I think some of it is, we got it offensively wise. We do a great job, of putting guys in position to get open. But now understand, when you go to the SEC, those guys they don't fear you. You got a corner over there that can run with CeeDee Lamb. You got a safety over there that can run with that. I just think the mentality of some of the players on the team got to change. Those dudes got to be dogs. Coming in. Those dudes got to play with a chip on their shoulder. That's how it's been. When guys come in, felt like they was under recruited, playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they went at it. And when you go to the SEC, those guys, a lot of those guys come from them houses with them been sitting on them bricks, and they even brought them out there and they work hard and they go at it. And like I said, I just think it starts in the summertime in that weight room and getting that mindset, because when it get hard, when it get tough, those dudes always find a way to win and find a way to come at it. But it's like you get back to game planning wise, it's just trying to find the best way to put your guys in the best situation. If it's a good D-line, you got to find a way to make them run sideline to sideline to get them tired and stuff like that. And then, at some point, they're going to win a one-on-one. At some point, they're going to win a one-on-one. And you got to win your one-on-ones on the outside, and stuff like that. But I just think Oklahoma's biggest deal right now is just matching the tempo and the level of what them guys play in the SEC, not that. Because you understand now, night in, night out, you talking about me. I mean, I was there when we played we had South Carolina, they was number 8. We had Arkansas, they was 15. We had LSU was 3. We had Alabama was 1. And then we had A&M, who was number 4. Then you get a break and go play Kentucky, who was pretty good. And then you ended up with Ole Miss. So I just think the caliber of the play in the SEC get those guys. So when they see a Big 12 team, it's like playing an FCS school for a little bit, to get at it. And we got to have success versus a Big 12 versus the SEC school. A premier SEC school. We'll go out and we'll handle Tennessee because they coming up, they up and coming. But like stepping in and play Alabama face to face, toe to toe. Remember, you Oklahoma. And we Oklahoma, man. We don't have to go out there and get cute. We got the same amount of athletes as you. Let's go play football. Man. Let's go. And that's something that the coaches can't teach. And that's something that all come from the players that you recruit. A lot of us, when we came to Oklahoma, we knew the tradition of Oklahoma. Like, we ain't come for Jordan. I ain't come to put the Jordans on. I ain't come for all that. I came because I knew what Oklahoma stood and I knew what Oklahoma was about. A lot of these kids now come because we do a good job of selling the Jordan brand, of having the Jordans. That's the first thing. If you see Oklahoma, that's the first thing they see. Is Jordan. When you was coming up, you see that. All you saw when you came there, he may have showed you his championship rings that was in his desk of what he won. But the first thing we do is we show them the Jordan brand. Hey, this is Jordan brand. So now you getting the 5 stars, but are you getting the true 5 stars that are coming that are really good? Alabama ain't showing you no Jordan brand. They showing you championship rings. They showing you how to get to the league. So them kids that's coming there, they understand the work that they're gonna put in. It ain't all about showing the Jordan brand. It's all about coming in and put that work in. Same thing with Clemson. Them dudes, they selling the program and selling the tradition. And I think a lot of that is just the players, when they come in, they got to embrace that tradition. That's why we all sitting here right now and getting mad about it, because you can watch and understand we've been in that situation before, but we was built a little bit different. We fought a little bit different. Like being at that whole LSU game, there's no way they would there's no way if any of our era they would have said something in the newspaper about our DBs being soft. First thing we'd have done at one of them events, it'd have been a fight. It'd have been a fight. We'd have ran for it. Whether Bob, whatever he said, don't do nothing. It was gonna happen. We was gonna run for it. But that's the difference now. Like, them dudes just let it go on. And until the players, you know, coaches coach hard. You know, I've been around those guys. Those guys do a good job of coach hard. You know, but when you start, when you get some guys in there that they really value playing when playing for Oklahoma and not playing for that Jordan brand, then we gonna turn it around.
Man, that's real.
That
I was going to piggyback on some of that too. Just in regards to, you know, when you talk about, you know, game planning and stuff, I agree wholeheartedly with JJ when he says it starts in the summer and then off season. Like I tell people all the time, man, you know, when people get out coached, people don't get out coached on Saturday afternoon. People get out coached in June, July, and August. That's when people get out coached because, you know, we hear all the time, it's the little things, it's the little things. Well, if I'm getting ready to play Alabama, like I can't start coaching the little things now. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't start, not necessarily that you hadn't been coaching, but I can't start holding guys accountable, and I can't make it a point of emphasis this week saying, hey, guys, it's going to be the little things that make the difference. All of those little things with us were created through Schmitty in June and July. Like we understood the importance of when he says start behind the line, that don't mean your toe be on the line. It means be behind the line. When he says touch the lines, it doesn't mean wave at it. It means touch the line. You know, like the little things. And that's where all of that's developed is in the off season. And so when you get into games, especially the big games, those are what's going to be the difference is how well do you execute the little things? How who makes the least mistakes? And so, you know, as far as scheme and coaching wise, like the scheme at that point, especially when you're talking about
higher level, at higher level, you go. Yep.
Everybody know what they're doing with scheme. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be the little things that make the difference. And then I was going to tell the story just of an experience of mine when I was at Southern Nazarene and we were playing SWASU, Southwestern Oklahoma State. And they had a freaking defensive lineman that was, you know, again, it's all relative to the level, but I mean, he was as good as any defensive lineman I'd ever coached against, right? And they did a great job of moving him around from the 3 technique to the shade to the 5, you know, like, and so you never knew where he was going to be, right? And so what our game plan was going in was we were going to, you know, have calls that, you know, we if he's at the 3 technique, we're going to have 2 hats on him. If he's at the shade, we're going to wham him, you know, and just if he's at 3 technique, we're going to midline him, you know what I'm saying? And so we had a lot of success moving the ball against them just by controlling him, keeping him guessing. Going to overtime and it's 3rd and 6. I'm like, man, let's hit up midline. We had hit it a couple of times early in the game and had some success. Figured we'd be able to get it. There's 3rd and 4. We freaking run midline and out of shotgun. He tackles the running back. Quarterback pulls it, turns it up. This cat releases the running back, turns around, tackles the quarterback for 1 yard before the first down.
It's coaching. It's coaching. Blame the coach.
You know, like, it's like, okay, there's nothing you can do about that. It's a great player who freaking made a great play. You know what I'm saying? It's like nothing that, you know, and so there's, like JJ said, they going to win the one-on-one matchup sometimes, but you got to make sure that your guys are winning those one-on-one matchups before anything else.
So speaking of matchups, I got to hear you guys. Like I said, nobody cares more about winning national championships. What are y'all's expectations for this year? Do y'all expect the team? When do y'all expect the natty? I mean, when do you want to see us in the playoff again? Do you think they're going to make a jump? Jarrail, you don't even look half positive. What's up?
I mean, I bleed Oklahoma and I love them dudes. You know, my deal is I just, you know, after seeing last year, the last 2 years, you know, we wasn't even close. Now if we come out and we blowing people out and we have no struggles in the Big 12 and it looks like we can play, then it's gonna be fine. I think this year's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be because you got a new quarterback coming in. First year, no transfer QB. You know, so this will be a kid who's a freshman who's, you know, whoever win it be talented. You know, CD Lamb, you know, no proven playmaker out wide, you know, for those guys. So it'll be, and then, you know, you take away Sermon out the backfield. So There's no real guy on that field who made some real plays last year at this time. So, my expectation.
We're replacing quite a few offensive linemen too, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
We're replacing quite a few offensive linemen too.
Yeah, you play two offensive linemen, and for me, coming in, it's if those guys get out of there 10-2, I mean, if they win 10 games, that'll be good. If they mess around getting the playoffs, for me, if I'm on the committee, they gotta do a whole lot to be on the playoff. Like they undefeated. You can go undefeated, but you still you gotta show me something. Like you gotta go to Texas and shut them out.
That hurts, but it's real. That hurts, but it's so real.
Yeah. I'm gonna be, and you gotta, you can't go like we went to Baylor and made that dramatic comeback. That don't happen all the time. Like that don't happen all the time. That was like finding a unicorn. Like that don't happen all the time. Like so, if I'm on the committee, Oklahoma can go undefeated. If they struggle in 1 or 2 games, they'll go play in the New Year's Six bowl for me. But just because if it's an SEC school that got 1 loss or a Big Ten school that got 1 loss, I'm gonna put them in over them. I'm gonna put them in over, and it's not nothing. It's nothing against us. It's just the last 2 showings haven't been, as good as they should have been. If you talk about last year was just, I mean, we played, we showed up, we played, we've been on that. I've been on that side. I think I was like in Southmoore, Nebraska. I was on that side. Well, they could have kept scoring, but they stopped. And we also been on the other side where we could have kept scoring. I think it was A&M. We could have kept scoring, but we stopped. So. I just think they got to show so much. Like they got to be so dominant to get back to get in that playoff. Now, in a year, no problem. But this year, I can't see it doing it because last year the committee nobody really was on a bandwagon to let them in. But my expectation for them, they'll win the Big 12 as usual. They'll struggle a little bit with Texas because they'll be an experienced team, and and it just depends on how that QB get out the gate and how well they take care of themselves, COVID and stuff like that. Because they're gonna play college football. You got to. You ain't got no choice but to play it. My expectation for them is they'll win the Big 12. They'll be in the talk to go to a playoff team. But me, if I'm a committee, I'm gonna pass on them.
What you got, Jay Norm?
No, I agree with everything he said. Especially from an offensive perspective, I just think that. I think one of 2 things can happen. One, we can kind of expect that it's just going to be, one of those years that we just struggle because we got a bunch of new faces, a lot of, a lack of experience on that side. Or 2, we could just see it as it could end up being as breakout years for a lot of people, but I think it's going to require a breakout year, not just for one guy, but for a lot of people. The quarterback is going to have to play above par. We're going to have some receivers step up. Our run game is going to have to be there. And then just defensively, we lost our two best guys in our front 7, and how are we going to play? I don't know. And then, did we fix the issues in the secondary? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just think, we've said, and my dad has said this since I was young. It's like, we're OU. Like, there's no rebuilding. Like, you just re-up. You know what I'm saying? Every year. But when we're talking about winning a national championship, like you gotta, it's looking like it's gonna be a rebuilding year for us,
man. A couple things, Jay. One, I think I want us to play, obviously, too. But if we just go to conference play, kind of what Jarrail was talking about, our conference may not have as many ranked teams as others. And I'm worried that the narrative is what Jarrail said it is, and that people are tired, and they may want to see an Oregon or somebody else, or 2 SEC or 3, a rematch of those. My deal, another point, Jay, when you talked about coaching, and I think the fans would love to hear, but our NFL playbook, the shortest part of it is goal line short yardage. It's 2 pages. because those defenses are so good. You know, you talked about Sean McVay. He was with us at the Tuskers, and some of the things he does offensively, some of those quick handoffs, even to receivers, the jet sweep type things, or the, you know, fake those with the draw. I mean, all those are to get guys like Aaron Donald moving so that they can do something different besides doing what and lastly, just kind of rounding up that point, just, man, one thing and you know me, I mean, obviously playing in quote unquote trench position, we didn't move LSU's D tackles. The only way they went was this way. And when that happens, you're not going to beat a team like that. And so my worry is that conference and that those players are just what you're talking about is the kids that they're able. I don't even know. I'm worried. I'm gonna just say it because it's almost like the coaches feel what you're saying, Jarrail, because some of those kids that are down in Florida, I don't even see that they have offers by us at times. And maybe our coaches are onto something. Maybe they just know, hey, shit, he ain't coming. Like, he already down there. He blah, 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 blah. I mean, is that how it is? Let me just ask you that.
It just depends. Like, I've been in places where they be like, if they got, like, I was in the Ivy League. If they had a Harvard offer, he'd be like, don't worry about it. And then that was like my first year. Then when I was like, well, let's go battle. Like, you never know what's going to happen. Let's go battle. We got to battle. We can start battling, start winning one or two of those battles. And those kids start to turn around. And, you know, at Dartmouth, we went from 0-12 to 3 Ivy League championships just by getting in a battle. I think some of it is you got to be you can't worry about the sexy 5-star. Let me go get this 3-star kid that played just as hard as a 5-star kid. And the one thing I learned when I was at Mississippi State with Dan Mullen, if it was a kid that you recruited and you liked him, every week you had to break his film down. Like, it wasn't no highlight tape. So every week you had to game film and you had to pick out plays and the bad plays. And on Thursday, we would sit there and watch him. If he was on your board, we would sit there and watch him. If he was a 5-star kid, he didn't hustle to the ball, he didn't do nothing like that, he would X him off the board. If it was a 2-star kid, but he played hard, same measurables, just at a lower school, played hard, chased the ball all the time, he would jump up high on our board. And that's how he turned that, bro. Like Darius Slay and those guys like that, guys that just played hard. And stuff like that. So that's kind of what you got to see. Because if you get caught up and watch the kid highlight tape, and you know, everybody highlight tape is gonna be good, but like that's what, like with Dan will make us come in that thing on Sunday, and every kid you had to watch his game, and you had to break it down. So if that kid, we had a game on Saturday, and that kid was coming on Friday, you had to be able to sit down and tell that kid what he did good, what he did bad when he got there on Friday, and that helped me in recruiting because. You watch his highlight tape, you know, most you come in and watch his highlight tape, it look good. So every week he'd be like, if he on your board, you need to break him down. You need to have 10 plays. So we had to have 10 plays, 10 good, 10 bad. And we would come in the thing and we would watch him and he would hammer them out. And we X so many 4 or 5-star kids because they made some plays. They was big, they was athletic, they was better than everybody, but they just didn't play hard the whole time. So he didn't want that because of the place of where we was at, and then understand SEC football is all about a grind. Everywhere you go, it's all about a grind. Ooh. All the towns that you play in outside of
your home, the place you play from.
All of them grind. They grind towns. Like they grind towns. If it ain't football, if it ain't college, town don't exist. You know, it's nothing. It's in the middle of nowhere. So you got to be one of those players that come in that's gonna grind. And you know. Alabama gets the guys that they get out of Alabama are guys that they have watched over and over and over again. That's the difference by having like a true home base because now you see him, they seeing you on a daily basis. He done been in your camp since he was in the 9th grade. You done seen him since he was in the 9th grade. You done seen him play. You done seen him progress. You done built a relationship with him. That's what I think the SEC do a good job of. They see these kids when they're in the 8th grade, 9th grade, and them kids stay in that same area. So you build a relationship with them. They come to camp. It ain't too far on a Friday night where they can drive and go see him, and sometimes you run into that. If you hear, but I'm recruiting a kid in Virginia, there's no way I can get up there on a Friday night and watch him play. Mm-hmm. You know, I always have to go watch a kid play and see his demeanor on the sideline. When something go wrong, how does he handle himself? And, you know, when the old OU staff, that Dallas, Houston, that Dallas in the area, they would hammer that because they can go down on a Friday night, watch those kids play, come on back for the game on Sunday for Saturday, and they built that relationship with that kid. So it's just you gotta those guys that's a different level now. Like, but we can get to that level though, And we can get to that level. It's about just going to get in the fight.
Yeah.
You know, going out there, getting in the fight. I'm not going to get this kid because he a 5-star and, you know, he got Oregon and all of them. You're supposed to beat them. Go in there and get in the fight. Get in the fight on the kid that said got to Alabama, LSU, or somebody like that, because that's who you got to beat. Because BV go get in fight now. BV will go get in the fight. And he wins 90% of the time. He get in the fight. So and it's not, you know, Clemson ain't sexy. They just, you know, they ain't selling. They ain't sexy.
Jerseys.
Alabama, if you ever been to Tuscaloosa, it ain't sexy. Yeah, it's not. Now you go to LSU, it's a little bit different. Now down at LSU, you get loose, get wild, but it's like those towns. You got to be like those dudes been grimy, and the SEC been like that since we was playing. We was just able to match up because we had dudes like Tom Harris. You had those dudes, Dusty Dvorak, dudes who felt like they was overrated, but them dudes you walk down the alley with, them dudes to go fight.
Real Jay.
Hey, Jay,
go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask JJ, like, do you
Hold on,
think,
right quick.
okay.
Did y'all? I don't know what happened. Hold on.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You good now?
I was going to ask you, what do you think it would benefit a team like OU, a dominant, you know, a team that's rich in tradition and history, to get coaches from those SEC schools who have those footprints in those SEC states to go and recruit them?
They got one, but it's hard to pull them out of there, though. I mean, It's hard to pay good, the players good, and you're winning. And sometimes when you go to another place, you gotta be able to relate and recruit in that area. You know, that's just like when Dan went to Florida, he had to leave all those Mississippi guys because they weren't gonna benefit him down there. You know, exactly. And as a coach, you got to be comfortable going into a place, you know, going to a new recruiting environment to be able to keep your to keep that recruiting going.
Yeah, I want you guys' thoughts on this because I'll say this and you can react to it, but Texas is now an SEC state because they are still, as Jarrail Jackson said, but they are stealing. They got a linebacker he's originally from Mesquite, but just took him from Duncanville.
Oh, let me go get my charger right
Go
quick.
ahead, you good. Jay Norm, there's another linebacker from DeSoto who don't even have the Big 12. I think it is in his top 5. For me, when we were our best, like Texas was really, really good. Texas high school football was really, really, really good. The top 25 kids, 30 kids that Texas offered, they got those kids. And so then it became almost like OU was the underdog that would go beat them. Is that what we need? Is that like, one, is Texas high school football elite like it was when y'all were there? And then 2, you know, well, how do you feel about Texas having kids move? And then 3, obviously just your feelings on, you know, recruiting and what OU needs to do.
Well, I think one, when you look at the statement that Texas is an SEC school like that, it wasn't that way until A&M jumped in the mix. Like that's what led it to be an SEC state, was because of A&M. And you know, the moment that A&M became an SEC school, SEC had a footprint in Texas, and now just from that alone, like other schools have access to the state. So Alabama now has access to the state. Not Clemson, but Georgia. You know, like all of
LSU.
These teams access. LSU, they got access to the state now because of A&M's footprint there. And so, you know, those teams, you know, they got buddies going to A&M and they want to play against their buddy, whatever. That's one thing. Secondly, I just think that, because of that's taken some of our top players out of Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like those dogs, you know what I'm saying? Out of Texas. And then you know, the Big 12 is left, you know, with whoever doesn't go to SEC,
Leftovers.
you know. But, you know, and I've heard this from a lot of college coaches, and JJ can probably can confirm this, but you know, the knock that a lot of coaches have to Texas players is that, you know, they might be a great player, but they're pretty much tapped out. You know, like they don't have a lot of upside because you got to think in the state of Texas, like I started playing football when I was in 3rd grade, right? And most of those 3rd grade or those youth leagues are direct feeder systems to the high school. And so you're getting, this really good coaching at a young age through junior high and in high school, and you pretty much have, in a lot of cases, reached your ceiling. In a lot of cases, there might be a little room for growth, but the programs from junior high, as far as strength and conditioning programs and all of that, are like top notch in Texas. And you compare that with the rural cities in Mississippi and in Alabama, where these kids don't even, they might have one rack in their weight room, and you got a big 6'4", 210-pound cat that's playing defensive end. You can look at him and say, oh, and he's running a 4.4. Oh, we'll put 30, 40 pounds on him easily and coach him up. And he's this great defensive end. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what you have access to in those, SEC states, is guys who have untapped potential, but all of this room for growth, and you get them into a big time program and they explode, and so and then you got on top of that the 5-star guys, you know what I'm saying, that you're getting out of those areas. And so, I just feel like, I think we still do a good job. OU still does a good job of recruiting Texas, but it's oversaturated. Now it used to just be a battle within the Big 12.
Yep.
Now it's now we're battling. Everybody would try to come in and steal a guy from Texas. But again, because A&M is there and SEC has a really strong footprint, LSU has always done a good job of recruiting Houston area. But now that they have such a large footprint in Texas, it's
easy.
When the pickings are slim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JJ, what you got?
When you go to Texas, they playing in $20 million stadiums, high school stadiums, and then when you go to Mississippi, they got cuckabugs on the field sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different level. And I think also when you talk about recruiting, you got to look at the coaching staff and the ties. When you recruiting, I mean, that's big. If you got a staff and you trying to recruit Texas, but none of them dudes got true Texas ties, it's hard to get in. It's hard to break into college. It's hard to break into because of the fact that they don't really trust you. They don't really trust you on that end. And that's one thing. Like when we was in Mississippi, we recruited the state of Mississippi hard. Like if you was an outsider guy, if you was an outside kid, you had to try to recruit us to come in. But the thing is, we had guys who had true ties to Mississippi. Like they played there, they grew up there, them coaches that coached there, whether they had been on staff for a long time somewhere else, but they had true Mississippi ties. Now you run it back, when Bob first got here, he had Bobby Jack Wright, who was at Texas for a long time, had strong Texas ties. And a lot of those guys on his staff had strong Jackie Ship, strong Texas ties. So them dudes that built a relationship. So you got the end on that. You got the end on those guys now. Now the SEC, like LSU's always been good in Houston because it's so close. They always been good in Houston. It's so close. But Houston used to be an Oklahoma school. Had Clarence James had ties to Houston. Those guys were in Texas and had strong ties. And I realized that the part of recruiting is if you got a strong tie with them coaches and they really, really trust you, you're gonna have first dibs on those kids coming in. And they gonna help you as much as possible. But when you don't have a really true secure base about where you recruiting at, because everybody had a part of Texas when Bob was here. Everybody had some part of Texas. But when you don't have a true recruiting base, and you in Maryland, you in Florida, you in California, you in Georgia, you don't have that. You don't have that strong ties that you need to be successful. And if you look at Alabama staff, that dude, if he want to recruit Texas, somebody on that staff got strong Texas ties that he can call on and go get it. And they know, and they've been around, they've been that part. That's all recruiting is, building a relationship with those high school coaches, because now he can pick up the phone and call you first and be like, hey, JD having a great year. Nobody really know about him. I'm going to keep him up. And it's been just like this. JD having a great year. I'm going to keep him off all the lists if you want it. And you go down there and see him and you get him. I got a kid out of Dallas to come play football at Dartmouth because he wanted to play quarterback. Could go play receiver at Baylor, TCU, whatever, but he wanted to play quarterback. Coach, like, if you offer him at a quarterback, you'll get him. Offer him at a quarterback, kept him off the list. Dude came up there, was 3-time All-Ivy League player of the year. So it's all about having ties with those guys, man, and taking care of home. I think the biggest thing we haven't done is took care of home. Like, we haven't taken care of home at all. It ain't been a time. You got guys that left here, went to the Big Ten, and are playing well in the Big Ten. You lose the running back Josh Jacobs to Alabama. He go down there and start. Then you lose Proctor to Ohio State. He go down there. You got Bush up at Michigan. He goes playing. You got the kid that from Jones is at Iowa State that's playing. You got Jay Hunt's little son who is I'm gonna tell you this. Brad Davis has done him and Sam Pittman, they have done an outstanding job at Arkansas of killing the state of Oklahoma.
Yep.
It's all because Brad was here. He played. He was at A&M. He built that relationship. Coach Pittman was here. And it's all about taking the chances on. You got to take a chance on guys.
Yep.
You got to take a chance. Yeah, he may come to your camp. He may blow it up. He may not be a 4 or 5 star, but he got the ability to help you and develop into something. So you got to start. I think you got to start looking at guys like that, because if you look at Alabama, they'll get the 5 stars, they'll get the 4 stars, but then there's always two or three under the radar guys that they'll get that they'll bring in and develop, and then they be a first round pick. So you got to start looking at guys like that and stop trying to win the star recruiting battle and win the battle. Hey, let's look what we had in 3 years. He was boom, he helped us on that. I think that was a big part. That big part is you got to be able to develop kids. You got to be able to develop them. You got to be able to bring them and help them get better and be able to project the guys that are projects and stuff like that that'll come in and that can help you.
Man, it's been
recruiting is all about relationships.
Man, I couldn't agree more. Give me some more, if you don't mind. What's Leach like as a recruiter? How's he sealed the deal compared to like a Bob?
I'm gonna tell you right. If Mike Leach in your house, you going to school. You going to school, Coach Leach. And I think the thing about Leach is he don't talk to you about no football because he didn't done all that. He done all that on the phone. We've done all that on the phone. He come to your house. He talking about life stuff. We talking about stuff outside of football, vacations and stuff like you'll take just to see what you are as a person, so you can get to know him. Because we already talked enough football. He already know what you can do as a football player. But when he come to your house, he may tell you 1 or 2 things about, hey, this is what I want you to do in football. Other than that, we talk about life. He gonna talk to your little mama, your little sister, your brother, all them. And that's just how he is. He gonna come in and the one thing I learned from him is when we come to your house, we're not gonna make you feel uncomfortable. We may come to your house with shorts and some shoes and just kick back and just chill. We're not gonna come all dressed up because we don't want you to feel uncomfortable. So we're gonna come in and he gonna sit down, he gonna give his pick, he gonna give his spiel, but it's not gonna be like how guys sit there, you gotta come here and we're gonna do this, we're gonna play this. He's already told you that on the phone. He come in, he wanna know about you. He wanna know about how, what kind of vacations you went on, what you like to do, and stuff like that. And that's just how he is. And he's just different on that. And he wants the environment to be just fun, loose, and laid back and go from there. Now, when they get close to signing day, that day before signing day, he got some tricks he'll pull out the bag or something like that. He'll call it. He got one where he'll tell everybody about how he got Crabtree, how he just didn't hang up the phone until so nobody can call him. He just kept the phone. Call him, so he signed it the next day.
That's real.
But with him, it's all about he want to know you as a person. And he wants you to know him as a person. With Coach Leach, a 10-minute visit will be a 3-hour visit, and he will talk about absolutely no football. He'll tell you about Geronimo. He'll tell you about Bigfoot. He'll have you sitting there and you'll be like, it was my job when I was with him. It was my job when he had those press conferences to keep him on point. He talk about Bigfoot. You be back there, hey man, they don't want to know about that.
Right.
They want to know about what you gonna do.
Right. Yeah. 60% pass, fam. Go back to that. But now, Jay Norman, let's sum it up. This has been a great pod. Just let everybody know what you think, what you're going to be looking for from OU this year, and then what everybody's going to need to look for Southmoore this year.
Man, I think, just like JJ was saying, man, my biggest deal with us is just seeing that we play with the dog. Like we just got to have a different mentality, that mentality that's like, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Like, we're gonna get out here, we're gonna grind, man, and that needs to show on Saturdays. And that, to me, that tells a lot about a lot. If you could just see guys who are just out there just grinding, busting their tail, doing whatever is necessary to get the dub. That's
real. What about Southmoore?
Man, same thing, man. Like, we it's year number 1 for us. Just like you said, like I want to win, and I want to win now. And so I think it starts with my coaching staff, and I think I've done a heck of a job. I missed out on my ace, on getting that ace.
Yeah,
missed out on
the
him,
righty.
but
Yeah.
I think we got a great coaching staff that's schematically, I think we're going to be solid. It's just a matter of getting those guys to understand, it's not about them. We got to play selflessly, and we got to play, with 100% effort, man. Executing the detailed fundamentals with 100% effort and doing it consistently.
I love it.
That's what we're looking to do, and I feel like we can put ourselves in a position to be competing in the playoffs by the end of the year.
I love it. JJ, what you got, man? What's all you need to do? Is it a lost hope? Do we just need to make that jump? I mean, do you have a little bit of faith? What's up?
No, it's not lost hope. Like I said, they're gonna dominate the Big 12. I just think they got to be so dominant, like so dominant in the big games. Like they got to dominate Texas. They got to dominate Baylor. You can't go out there and go into overtime and barely win against Iowa State at the end, hold in. And if the quarterback throw it to the guy that run down the middle underneath the goalpost is different. It's a game. You got to go out there and just dominate. And if they dominate, and the defense going. I'm tell you right now, Coach Grinch, he'll get them right. He did a good job for us at Washington State. They got to come out and do their part and just continue to get better. Offensively wise, Lincoln had those guys rolling. I just don't think they'll be until those guys figure out college football and how to play. The level of college football. Playing without a CD Lamb. It's easy to play when you got CD on the other side. You know what I'm saying? It's easy because if all else fails, you're gonna throw it to him. And that's what they did last year. Last year all else failed, they'll throw it to him. And then it's different it's gonna be different for a defense when you got a quarterback that's spread around. So I look for guys to come out and they compete at a high level. I think they feel like they, if they any type of players and they read the media, they feel like they are being disrespected. And if they got guys are disrespecting them around the country. And if I'm a kid, I'm not on social media talking about, I'm ready for this and all this. I'm not putting it out there. I'm in the grind. I'm grinding. I'm ready to go. So when we hit the field, I ain't gotta talk. I ain't gotta talk. I'm ready to go. I see so many of them on social media. We're ready for this year. We're ready to revenge ourselves. Well, you said that against Alabama. Yeah. So just come out and work hard, man. Those guys are talented. They just got to come out and work hard and just play for the tradition. Traditional. I understand you got the Jays and you do all that. We were sponsored by Jordan, but if you're getting whooped by Jordan, every time we win the national championship game, you're getting killed by a Nike school. Shoot, just be happy to be a Nike school. You know what I'm saying? Just enjoy the perks that come with it. But play for the tradition. The tradition that came before you.
No, you're right. They absolutely got to understand. Real quick, they got to understand what type of furniture we had in the bud, fam. I mean, like, what? Dog, have you seen what they got in the dorms?
I saw it.
I mean, we had them wooden chair, the disco looking furniture. Go ahead, Jano. That's just one of the many things that they've come up on.
Oh, that's good. The Yorkshire too. I don't know if you experienced the Yorkshire, JD.
I told D-Mac on the last pod there was women wouldn't go there because of things, whatever happened. So our class was like, nah, we can't go live there, fam. You can't. I don't know what there was just like, no, we won't go there. So we were like, okay,
that's real.
Anyway.
And they tore it down, so all the ghosts go on with it.
Exactly. Seriously.
I think they talented enough. Them dudes, them kids, the coaches, they got good coaching staff. Those guys just got to go play for tradition.
I had a question for JJ.
Go ahead.
What's up?
You said that you've been meeting with a guy about the run and shoot. I remember growing up and watching the Houston Oilers, and they were running the run and shoot with Warren Moon. And I don't know, to me, in theory, it would be very similar to the air raid. And I was just curious, like, what are some of the similarities? But what are the biggest differences, and what are some of the similarities?
The biggest differences is those routes. They routes are really defined. Like in the air raid, is if I got a curl, but he pressed me, now I get an 8. I can run an 8. I can get the grass. with the run and shoot, it's all short stuff. If I got a hitch, I better be at 5, and then I can work out. I can work in, and just putting the ball where it is, and then run the ball. The just with the running back hits, with the air raid, it's inside outside zone. That's it. That's what you really want. You want to get the ball on the edge. Here, these guys don't mind running the ball inside. Getting tough yards, and then throwing a quick game. And the thing that I like about it is when we played them, they was in Houston. June Jones was with the Roughnecks in Houston, and we was in Dallas. We was better than them across the board as far as with the stats, but they was way more efficient. They had better. They plays was more efficient than ours, and they was more explosive. So just sitting down with them, you understand why. And if you put it all together, you mix some stuff with we did and air raid some stuff they did and clean up some stuff. It's a high-powered offense, and I've been blessed with the O-line coach. They was like, they want to pass it off to a young generation because they feel like the offense was dying. So sitting here with him in Dallas, man, just going through it all, and he let me poke holes through it and stuff like that. It's been pretty good. He's an older coach, his time is up. As far as like trying to get back to a bigger job, so he just want to help. So he's been really good, and it kind of opened my eyes a little bit from just being Mike Leach and just throw it around a little bit because we had success. You go back and look, the year when I was at UCO, we broke all them records. If I'd have did this a little bit better, we probably would have shattered everything out of the water. So it's been really good. And like I said, Josh, the difference is they stuff is just a little bit more defined. Hey, you got rules on what you got to do. This is where you got to go with it. And our stuff is just run the grass and get open. That. He told you just run the grass and get open. And then the quarterback just kind of find the best matchup situation. Here, they go from right to left, and they got reads, and you tell them which way to go and stuff like that. It's a similar style of concept, just a little bit more structure.
Gotcha. That's what I was gonna say. Coach Knox told me you was talking about me, man. He told me you was talking about me. Asked him what kind of offense we was running, and
the boy said you was gonna huddle up. I ain't seen a huddle in like 5 years.
Hey, we huddle up, man. We huddle up.
And they said Coach Knox said Josh Norman want to huddle up. I said I ain't seen a huddle in like 5 years. Boy, that's it. Somebody gonna call timeout on you.
I know, for real. Yeah. We do a lot. A lot of our past concepts are similar to what you explained. As far as very precise, and you need to be here. You know what I'm saying? And
once we get done with all this, I'll give you the book. We got notes and all kind of stuff. I'll give you the book. I don't mind sharing.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see all of that, man.
Hey, then I got all this caveman football stuff that you want.
Please.
You want that caveman football that run the ball down the hill, all that type of stuff. I got all that what they had. He was at Carolina, and he was at I got all that caveman boring type football.
Yeah.
I want it. That's not what we do. We're actually pretty exciting on the offense side of the ball. But
you're gonna bring back the fullbacks.
Yes, sir.
We use a fullback.
Y'all use one?
We use a fullback, JD.
We using 2 in junior high. We keeping it real.
There you go. Yeah, we use a fullback, man.
Yes, sir.
I had a coach call me talking about, hey, I want you to join the flexbone staff.
That's terrible.
I feel the same way about flex.
Hey, you don't need a receiver coach. You don't need a receiver coach for a flex bone. You just push cracking. That's it.
Exactly. Push cracking 9 rounds.
That's messed up.
That's it.
That's messed up. I got to let the fans know a few other things that the current guys have, the shit that we didn't have. They get unlimited access to Gatorade. I thought Gatorade was a treasure back then.
I used to hit that. I used to know that Gatorade made that drop right there on that Sunday, and then I'm getting the cane.
Hey, that's real. They started cutting us off on Gatorade unless you was cramping, so you have to get an IV. But they had the one Gatorade over by the showers. They had the little Gatorade faucet that used to get ants in it all the time. That was the only damn Gatorade we had. It was either that or Gator Light. The few other things. One, drying your gloves and cleats was practically impossible unless you had to put it in front of a big ass fans. There would be 100 pairs of gloves, 100 pairs of cleats, literally blowing like sweat in the locker room. The lockers. Now we had the little 24, 36, 32 locker, bro. If your locker jams, and I mean you just shit out of luck, which means just anything like that. They got the fingerprint joints now. You know what I mean?
Hey, you had to literally split your glove open and get some new ones. Like you'd be like, hey, look, my hand is showing. Man. You only got your game gloves. You'd be like, you got 900 pair of gloves in that thing. Like you ain't gonna get one.
Yeah, man.
Not to mention just the indoor weight. I mean, the indoor track. I used to thank God when it would rain because, we just go to the indoor. Man, now they built the Schmitty indoor. And,
hey, I'm going to tell you the biggest thing they don't have.
What's up?
That they ought to be happy for. They don't have Jerry Schmidt.
Man.
Exactly.
They don't have Jerry Schmidt now. Jerry Smith has made a lot of guys be like, I ain't playing football no more.
Real quick, Jarrail, you got to answer this because there was a lot of guys, and we've said it before. There's a lot of guys in our Facebook group that think the Schnellenberger's guys was worked harder than Schmitty's. Was that true?
See, I came. Snelly was done. Like when I got there, like I came there and he was out. Now, from what I heard, we worked harder with Schmitty. They worked crazy. Like he had the boys climbing ropes with no hands, with no gloves on, and made the boys like he worked crazy. We worked harder with Schmitty, and like that stuff with Schmitty like make you think about it if this is really something you want to do.
Man.
Like the little crosswalk right there. I used to walk out and be like, I hope I get hit by a car, man. Like
exactly
right now. But then you be like, if I get hit, he about to come in there and get me. Like so, it don't really matter. I learned like with Schmitty, like you say, the little things. He say if group start at 3:30, if everybody there at 3:20, that's 3:30 to him, and we started. And you be like, Coach, I still got 10 minutes. No, everybody here it's 3:30 to me, and we start. That's the little things about being on time, being where you need to be, being early, and stuff like that. But like that's the one thing they don't have. They don't have Jerry Schmidt. So them dudes, like anytime you hang out in the weight room after a workout, that's like Schmitty had to come catch me, like.
Not to be confused with laying out after a workout. That's a different.
Hey, you walk over to the duck pond and you see him laying out like Hamburger Hill over there, you be like, ooh,
I had a nightmare that I was at A&M and I got corona. And I said, hey, Smitty, I got corona, dog. He said, no, big dog, don't worry about it. We got a corona quarantine workout. We're going to meet over there. I'm going to virtually watch you.
Like seriously, JD, like I don't think you can put enough stress on how serious what you just like. I'll be 40 years old in 10 days, and I still have nightmares or dreams where I wake up and I'm like, dang, am I late?
I'm late.
Like for this day.
Oh.
Like I'm gonna tell y'all a Schmitty story. I was coaching and I came back and did the OU camp, and so I'm walking around. He said, "Hey, big dog, we're gonna get that weight room in the morning. It's like 7:30." I'm like, "Hey, I'm a grown man, man. I ain't gonna get weight room at 7:30. Like I ain't lifting."
But it just rang in your head all day. Big dog, 7:30.
Hey, 7:20. I'm in the weight room. Get ready to go because I ain't want to hear it all day.
Oh, yeah,
hey man, like.
Big
I respect that man to the T now.
Greatest ever, man. Greatest ever.
I'll tell you what, man. It was just a different caliber. I'm going to have to try to get Andre Woolfolk on here because, he told me on my visit, but I was really hoping for some more encouraging words on my first workout besides it don't get no easier, big dog. Like, I mean, is this the time yet? How much time we got left? An hour 45.
Hey, man.
Like, what?
Yeah. What would be epic podcast, man?
What's up?
Got to get Schmitty on here, dude.
Oh, my God, dude.
You got to get Schmitty on there.
You got to get Schmitty on there, man.
Man.
And when you do
that, or you got to get Ed?
What'd you say?
Get Coach Ed. Was Coach Ed there with you?
Coach Ed was there. He was a great one, man.
You get Schmitty or you get Ed on here, it's gonna be, hey, now. Hey, my first workout with him, man, he brought me and Brandon Daniels in there. And he was like, hey, y'all supposed to be leading the team, right? He's like, yeah. This dude that videotaped us running around. We had like 24 200s. He didn't videotape us. Why y'all in the middle of the pack? We got 24. You supposed to be leading. We went through every one of them. He was like, you gonna videotape it? Yeah, every time, big dog. Every time. And he kicked to Bob. Bob was like, I ain't got nothing to do with that, man. That's between you and Schmitty, dog.
That's what he'd do every time. We'd be like, Coach, man, you ain't gonna do nothing about this. Mm-hmm. Hey, you know, Schmitty, whatever Schmitty says, it goes. Like, it is what it is.
So let me ask y'all, what would y'all want to? We'll end with that one question you would want to know. What should I ask it? What motivates him?
Schmitty?
Yeah.
What in the world is wrong with you?
Why? Why, man? Why, fam? Why?
Man, like, why? That's all I want to know. Why?
What was that?
Hey, the worst, if you was in that 6 o'clock group when they was just trying stuff out, that 6 o'clock group, that 6 a.m. group, they just try to see what the last group, like you doing, you'd be like, it's impossible times. Like, I remember I had to work out. He had like 4 plates on there for me to pull sled. I was like, ain't no way I'm gonna pull that on this grass. Ain't finna happen. But if it don't happen, you gotta come back this afternoon.
The other day I was outside and I looked at the clock and it was like 2:45, 3 o'clock. And it dawned on me, like, this would have been the time that we was coming back. And it was hot as crap. Like, it's like, how do we even do that? Like, work out at what 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then come back again at 3 o'clock. Like, how in the world did we even survive that, man? Like,
he was giving you no breaks at 3:30. Hey, 3:30, you out there? Like, I'm thinking about you passing out. Hey, 3 o'clock, you outside.
I do not know how he did that every day from 5 a.m. till 5 p.m. fam.
Yeah, every day, man.
Didn't miss a rep because trust me, I tried. I mean, I might have missed a couple, but that was when I was in his good graces. So,
I remember Stocker McDougal passed out. He laid on the ground. That boy stood over Stocker. He was like, "Can you hear me?" He was like, "Yeah." Get your ass up, because you ain't there. You killing the grass.
But see, like the worst though is like when you finish it with med balls and he know you falling off, and he be like, "All right, JD, here we go. You got the count." And you like, "Oh, dog, what? Go!" And then you just fall out. I fell out in front of everybody. I'm like, "Dog, you got."
How many times were y'all on the step mill? How many times were y'all on there?
You'd have to go 30 minutes if you were late, an hour if you miss.
Well, on level 0, that level he made up.
Or 2.
They trimmed it back with y'all. It was 2 hours with us, and it was 4 sets of 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 30 minutes, you get your little break, get you some water, and get right back on it, big dog. 2 hours. I did it. I had to do that one time, man.
That's it.
One time.
Hey, I was over the engine corner one time.
Yeah. I cramped up like 5 minutes before my last 2 hours, and I had to do a whole nother 30 minutes because I cramped up and I just couldn't even do it, and I just laid on the ground. He was like, "No, that don't count. Like, you got another 30 minutes." God dang, I was cramping, man.
I'll tell you what I can say is thank you, Schmitty, for like the time and a half. Like we did get to like 37 or 38 on med balls, and it was the last thing we did, and you didn't kick the whole fucking group out. You know what I mean? Like, everybody out. You like, "Please, Schmitty, no, dog, please, man, please." All right, get back to 35. Get back to 35. You lucky. You're like, thank you.
Hey, ain't nothing like having one of Mike Leach practices where it's a 6-day and you running all day long, and that boy be like, "Hey, we still got 6 gases after over." You be like, "Come on,
my goodness, man.
Hamstrings hurt. Go and pull them. Go and pull it off the bone."
Man, that's hilarious. Man, this would be a great pod, man. I appreciate you guys. I can't wait. After this football season, we have to catch back up. But I hope everybody listens in. So shout out to you guys, my big bro, Jay Norm, JJ. Much love to both of you guys, and good luck. Stay safe.
All right.
See y'all soon.